Keith, let's start with the dramatic scenes out of central Melbourne. We might have those live pictures of the helicopter too, that the coverage of Tony Mockbell being driven to Viewbank now. He's going to reside with his sister under strict bail conditions. But what do you make of the developments off the back of his appeal over the Lawyer X scandal?
Kieran, this is really serious. The Australia we know and love is not an accident. It's built on three fundamental pillars. That is freedom, democracy and the rule of law. And the Lawyer X scandal is a multi-generational stain on the legal system in Victoria. I'm not just a member of Parliament, I'm still admitted as a barrister, and I take those obligations seriously. And there is no more serious obligation than lawyer-client privilege. And I'd ask your viewers to imagine that they have been accused of a serious crime and they know that they're innocent. They need to know that they can have full and frank discussions with their lawyer. That's how the whole system operates. But when the police saw an opportunity to take a lawyer to act as an informant, a secret informant, that undermined the whole system. And that's why we had the $100 million Lawyer X inquiry. Now, that then recommended a further Office of Special Investigator at a further cost of $20 million. And then that went to the Director of Public Prosecutions, where a recommendation was made for criminal charges. But that's where it all ended. So the most serious stain on our legal system ended when the Labor-appointed Director of Public Prosecutions said, that's it. Now, that's an independent office, but what the state Labor government should have done, and there's precedent for this, was to either adopt the state Liberal position to give the powers to former High Court Judge Geoffrey Nettle, or to engage an independent Director of Public Prosecutions from interstate to look at it. And so Victorians have been poorly served here, and it's a really serious stain on the rule of law in Victoria. It's important we don't get lost in, the front page story of Tony Mockbell. I know he's a colourful character with a colourful history, but it's much bigger than him. This is just a real life consequence of where this goes. And again, Victorians are let down when this happens. It feels like, in many different respects, that Victoria is a failed state, from rubbish on the streets to increased crime to a lack of faith in the criminal justice system. And at its heart is incompetence. And people need to know that their government has their back and they're working hard and that they're good at their job. And it doesn't feel like that in Victoria at the moment.
My colleague Caroline Marcus on another story, she's reported that Peter Dutton is committed to an inquiry into that debacle around the reporting of Heston Russell by the ABC, the adding of gunshots to a particular report. What do you make of that? Are you happy that Mr Dutton has expressed that support for a review into that report?
I saw that report on Sky and I wasn't in the room with Heston Russell, Peter and his advisors, but as a matter of principle, I think we need to look at that. The ABC isn't just another media organisation, it's a taxpayer-funded institution and it has a legal charter that says it must be independent. So Heston Russell is right to question that if they're going to investigate their own homework, well, that's not good enough. It's not just about bias, it's about the perception of bias. So that is ultimately a decision for Peter and the leadership team. But as a matter of principle, I would support a further inquiry into that, and I'd certainly be happy to feed that through our side.
Well, you're not just a former lawyer, you're a former commando as well. So obviously you've got your own views and sensitivities to that as an issue in itself, because you've been in similar circumstances, unlike many of us.
Well, that's right. This should concern any fair-minded Australian, whether you've served or not. And I have served as a platoon commander, a commando platoon commander like Heston did. And to see that there was a doctoring of the sounds of bullets being fired in a really, really serious accusation, that's really disturbing to not just veterans, but to all fair-minded Australians. That's really cheap, shoddy journalism. And again, the public are entitled to know, was that just a stuff-up or a conspiracy? And those are serious questions, and we need an independent person or a body, an eminent former judge to come and look at that. But again, the particulars of that are for Peter to look at. But I do support Heston and his team, who feel really aggrieved by what's happened here.
Keith Wolahan, thanks for joining us, the member for Menzies. We'll talk to you soon.
Authorised by Keith Wolahan, Liberal Party, Doncaster.